Hi everyone, Jim O'Brill here. I'm the Drive Chicago radio host and also the marketing director with the Chicago Auto Show. It's October, so it's National Fall Car Care Month. So I thought I'd bring my 99 Prelude over to the experts here at Turtle Wax, the one and only Dr. Turtle, aka Mike Schultz, who is one of their chief chemists here at Turtle Wax for over 30 years, to give me some pointers on what I can do to keep my car looking good.
Jim, it's really great. I'm really glad you came over. I think we do a lot of good to your car for it and get it ready for the winter.
So Mike, I want to start with the paint finish because in the fall we get a lot of leaves that fall and then we follow that up with salt. So I know all that has a lot of different chemicals in it. So what can I do to protect the paint on my car?
Well, Jim, you have a 21 or 22-year-old car here and it's really actually in pretty good shape. But what happens when paint gets old, it gets a little bit more porous. So your car is going to be a little bit more prone to staining. So you need a good spray coating on there to kind of seal the paint and kind of get it through the winter months. I recommend our Hybrid Solution ceramic spray coating. This is one of my favorite products. It works fantastic as far as providing good durability and shine. Plus it'll last 6 to 12 months, so it'll definitely get you through the winter.
And it's pretty easy to use, just
Yes.
a microfiber cloth, and doesn't take a whole lot of time for even a novice.
No, this is basically you wash and dry the car. This is spray on, 2 sprays per panel, and wipe it through with a microfiber cloth, and you're good for several months. The nice thing, Jim, about this product, it's also safe to use on factory clear-coated wheels. Think about it this way. You're now putting a barrier on the rim to help make the wheels easier to clean and remove all that winter soil.
Now speaking of wheels, I want to jump to tires as well, because we know tires are key to keeping your car grounded and away from slippage. Of course I like to have a nice shine on my tires, but I know that doesn't help me in the winter. So what should I be looking for outside of cleaning on the tires to make sure that they're ready for the fall?
Well, you know what, the fall time is really the time for the consumer to look at the wheels and tires at the car. Number one, you want to look for any damage to the wheels to make sure that you didn't curb it or didn't do any damage to the seat, to the rim. But also, this is the time to look at the tires for wear. So if you have an older vehicle, one of the key things you want to do is you want to check the tread. So depending on how many miles you have on the car, if you have 20 or 30,000 miles, it's a good idea to check the tread, especially on front wheel drive cars, to look for uneven wear. Sometimes front wheel drive cars, you'll have more wear on the inside of the tire. This is a time to do an assessment to determine whether you need new tires to get you through the winter. You gotta remember, you're gonna be driving during winter and wet weather for probably 5 to 6 more months. So depending on how far you drive and how much you drive, it might be a good time to get new tires.
And Mike, we had someone from Instagram reach out to us when we posted about some questions. Said their tires, the tread looks okay, but there's some cracking on the side because the tires themselves are just older. My gut is time to get your tires if they're that old.
Yeah.
What's the expert say?
Rule of thumb is tires should never be on the car for more than 10 years. What it usually happens, there's polymers that are built into the rubber that can dry out. What happens, you'll lose some traction. Also, you're putting yourself, you got cord and you got steel belts. They can get weakened because the rubber is holding that together. So if your tires are over 10 years of age, then it's time to replace them.
So Mike, speaking of tires, we had someone on Instagram reach out asking the question, the tread looks good on their tires, but the sidewalls are starting to look like they're cracked because they're older tires. What's your recommendation for that?
Well, rule of thumb, Jim, is the age of the tire. How old are they? Tires should not be in a car for more than 10 years. The problem is the polymer scission or cracking that you're seeing could be a sign that the rubber materials are getting a little brittle. And you really want the best traction from the softness of the rubber. So it's probably a good idea, if the tire treads look good, but cracking and they're over 10 years old, time to change them.
So Mike, fall is also a great time to go for a road trip, enjoy the leaves. But with road trips comes a lot of other environmental things like sap and bugs. So what do you recommend for that on the car?
Well, Jim, what I always recommend is after you get back from your trip, properly wash the car with a car wash and properly dry it. A lot of the stains that you get on this trip will actually come off during the wash process. But for those sticky things like pine sap, it may be still on the car. You may need a product like our bubbly tar remover. This is something that's a little stronger that will actually remove those stains. But you will need to re-wax after you use this product because it will take off when you wax.
That's good to know. Now I keep this in my car actually. Is it safe to use while I'm on the road trip? After I get there and spray on and wipe down?
I don't think you really need to use this. What I would recommend is maybe having a spray detailer with you in the car, simply because a spray detailer will be handy. When things are very fresh on the car, they'll come off with just a wipe.
So Mike, with daylight savings time coming up, we're gonna lose some light. So I know it's key to make sure your bulbs are working in the car, but also the lenses. I know, especially in a car like mine that's 20 years old, they tend to get a little bit foggy. What can you do to keep these looking good?
Well, there's two ways you do it, Jim. Obviously, your headlights are in pretty good shape because I know you said you had them professionally restored. But this is the time in the fall. This is where, if you have a newer car, you can just use a spray wax or a cleaner wax to kind of clean up any oxidation or milky coatings that are on the lens. But if they're more severely oxidized, that's when you want to use our Headlight Restoration kit.
And so now that will actually help restore, because I've used that on my other car,
Yeah.
where that'll bring back the shine and get rid of that whole layer of...
Yeah, the whole idea is a lot of these oxides that develop on the lens actually make the lens very foggy, and the light actually can't get out of the headlight. So your distance is severely reduced than what you can see at night. What this does is restore that clarity, so your headlight beams will actually transmit a lot farther.
And how long does something like that last on the headlight?
Usually I like to do it 6 months to once a year.
So similar to waxing a car?
Yes.
And now for the newer cars with like modern LED lights, you mentioned like the spray and wax that we're using on the paint can transfer over to the lenses as well.
Absolutely. What you wanted to be able to do is make sure that the clarity of your lenses is at optimum condition. And like I said, a spray coating, spray wax, or a good liquid cleaner wax will actually restore a lot of the clarity.
And we're talking about headlights here, but that also applies, I assume, to the tail lights, because just like the rest of the car, those are going to get the same type of grime.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's not just the taillights, it's that third light that we have,
Sure.
The brake light that we have. A lot of people neglect that. Those actually get a lot oxidized. The red lenses will actually get a white film on it. So this is a good time to also take a look at that, because you want people to be able to see you at night, especially during the winter. It's a good time to take a look at those lenses, clean them up, put a wax on it, or use our lens restoration kit.
So Mike, the holidays are also coming up, so I know we'll be taking some trips and visiting family. And I've got 3 kids at home, so I like to keep some stuff on hand inside, make sure the inside's staying clean. What are the essentials that you recommend? Well,
First of all, one product you really need to keep in your car is our multi-purpose cleaner and disinfectant. It's great and safe for use on the inside of the car. It's a great cleaner and disinfectant from all the different types of touches that your kids will probably have inside the car. Sometimes they'll come in with sticky candy, or their hands are on the ground. It's nice to clean up and to sanitize and disinfect those areas where they touch.
And now this is really easy to use. It's just a spray and it lasts for at least 24 hours, correct?
Yes, it'll continue to work and disinfect for up to 24 hours and really control germs and bacteria. The big advantage of this product is the fact that it's safe for all the interior surfaces. Now, if you want better control, this is where that microfiber comes in handy. Spray the microfiber cloth first, and then you can wipe your instrument cluster or the dashboard, those hard to reach places, without getting the spray all over the glass and other areas where you may not want.
You know, Mike, you mentioned something, and I know we've talked about this before. A lot of people don't think about what they're putting on the materials inside the car. It's different than what you're using in your house. So it's important to have products that you guys are creating here at Turtle Wax on the finishes of the car, because they're very different, and some other products aren't going to be safe for your dash and everything else in the car.
Well, that's one of the things we do in the laboratory, is we actually look at all the different materials inside the car, and we're testing formulas to make sure they're safe and compatible with those materials. So when you do go to use them, you can use them with assurance that they're going to work on all those interior surfaces without doing any dulling of those materials.
So tell me about this other product you have here that you were going to talk about.
All right, this is our streak-free mist interior detailer. That's with the Flairosol sprayer. It actually works like an aerosol sprayer, but without the propellant. You simply pull the trigger as many times as you want, and you'll get a continuous spray. What we like about it is its precision application. It puts a fine mist on large areas very easily, makes it very easy to wipe with a microfiber. It minimizes the amount of product that you're using on horizontal or vertical surfaces. So when you wipe away the soil without having a lot of streaking left behind.
I know this is good for the plastics and stuff like that. What about the leather in the car?
You can use it on all washable surfaces. This is perfectly safe for any material inside the car. We don't say it, but you could actually use this on fabric as well.
Well, Mike, thank you for letting me bring my car down to your studios and crashing your facility and enlightening me with all your expertise.
Hey Jim, it's always a pleasure to have you stop by and so we get a chance to talk car care.
Well, and we'll talk more on the radio as well. You can visit drivechicago.com for more information on our show. You can also check out our social channels on YouTube or Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'll post highlights and videos of everything from this as well. And of course, to find any of these products, you can visit turtlewax.com for more information or to purchase them on their site as well. Thanks again, Mike.
You're quite welcome and thank you.